Welcome everybody to our second live streaming of the day for the Living Systems Collaboratory. It's such a pleasure and honor for us to welcome all these magnificent artists that we're spotlighting today. We're here today with Tashka, Natalya. We're talking about just right before going into the live stream, talking about being ready, and I think one thing that we have, or I have discovered in the Design Science Studio and the Living Systems Collaboratory, is that ready is not an adjective; it's a verb. I think all the artists that are part of this program were born ready. It's just in them. It's been fascinating to discover that everything that they are learning, they already embodied even before coming to our program. And so it's been really, really fascinating to have you be part of this and have a sneak peek into your mind, Tashka. You have a privileged mind of a creative and such an incredible warm heart. Tashka has developed her career as a fashion designer and has had multiple fashion shows. And I want to read a quote that I have here from you because I really fell in love with it, and I think it really describes your work better than anything. It's as follows. She says, "The words freedom and innovation best define my design journey as I strive to reinvent clothing that has performance-based comfort with a modern aesthetic as a lifelong passion fed by competitive dance, movement, and fashion. My investment into a full cycle production is what makes my work so intensely personal. The raw emotion infused in my textile design is embraced by controlled engineering and nuanced understanding of the weight and drape of the material." And I think it really captures the essence of what you are and the work that you do with such poetry. I think you have poetry within, and that's something that I always admire witnessing. So I'll leave you the stage so you can share a bit more with us about your project, and then at the end of it, we'll see a little snippet of some of the things that you've been also working on for the studio. Go for it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Nico, for that beautiful introduction. Thank you all for tuning in. And I would like to especially thank the Design Science Studio and the Living Systems Collaboratory, along with an inspired patronage and mentorship of Mansoor Vakili, in creating a really potent space and structure for discovering the painfully obvious almost belonging to the living systems, and how I can use my work and my passion in expressing it to the world. So hopefully we all remember that we are an interwoven part of everything. The other day, my aunt shared the story with me that when I was in kindergarten, a research team of psychologists came and they asked all of the kids to draw our home. And turns out that I was the only person who drew, who didn't just draw the family next to the typical, house, schematic of the house, but I was the only person who drew it, first of all, from inside of the house, and I chose a kitchen as the space to express this idea of home. And turns out also that I was the only person who didn't just kind of go by real facts and memory, meaning instead of drawing a kitchen table that was a basic rectangular shape that I grew up with, I chose to design a round table so that I could not only fit my family members there, but also our friends. And that story was so powerful to me because I never considered myself an experienced designer. And I realized that, in fact, it's something that I have been doing since I was a child without really maybe perhaps having the words to describe it. So designing for experience, yeah, I knew that while as an artist, I know that designing is really more of an experience of the experience of designing and creating actually designs me. Back to that beautiful conversation that Nico and Olivia had, and you know, being in this new place of wondering how can I use my passion to design an experience for others has been an incredible challenge, and has given me many reveals about myself. So, space. I used to think of space as just this mysterious out there concept. But then as a dancer, space has been something that I engage with and move through and with. And then as a fashion designer, space is typically the, you know, in Western tradition, an inch of ease that you find between your body and the fabric. And space, as I'm started to discover it throughout my last 7 months of engaging in this participatory design, space is nature, and space is the potential. Sorry, my slides. Oops, wait, can you see the slides? Okay. I will just assume that you can see the slides and trust that it's all good. So space. Space, as Madame Blavatsky calls it, is a potential. Space pulsates with wave of livingness. And so when I started thinking about the concept of living systems, you know, a few months into it, I ended up having all of my walls posted with notes and conceptualizations of what that is. And eventually I was reminded by Mansoor and a lot of really inspired conversations in our sessions that it's living systems is already here. There's no discovery that really needs to be made. So it's more like, how do I rediscover that relationship with it myself, and perhaps embodying that experience will help me design it as an offering for others. And that's exactly what happened. I just focus on paying attention to how my body plays and is into the idea of living systems. How do I interact with space? I mean, what is space?
Dear one, I'm coming here to let you know that the technical elves are working to solve your problem. I'll need you to reshare the slides because I don't want people to miss them while you speak. But
Okay,
if you
great.
reshare
Thank
them,
you so
we'll
much.
have them back again.
Okay, I'll do that right now. Thank you, Nico. Apologize for the technical. I'm going to try it one more time. Thank you for hanging in here with me.
Yeah, don't sweat it. Don't worry. We have technical issues sometimes. Okay, so try loading them one more time, and I know it asked you to reload. Let's see if this time it works. So press reload in there, or press show anyway. I think.
Show anyways, okay.
There you go.
Okay, great.
There, it should work. Ah, damn it.
No?
Wait. If you press show anyway, they show. They just like have some problem loading.
It
I don't know
seems
why.
to be giving me issue when I start moving between the slides.
Okay, but if you press show anyway, it then shows. So you'll just need to
Okay.
press show anyway after each one, and that's fine.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you so much. And thank you for hanging there with me. All right. So living systems, concepts, space. I just decided to make this discovery really, really intimate to myself. And I decided to embody this experience of space through wondering, how do I find support in space? How do I interact with gravity? And is it possible for me to be more aware of how the light caresses me and how the wind touches me and how I'm in this constant relationship with my environment and with the world. And in fact, it's a place that can help me resource myself. So I decided to go back to the basics. And instead of following the Western tradition of building patterns for fashion just solely based on the body, solely based on the aesthetic conceptualization, I thought of an experience, and I wanted to design for that experience of feeling embedded and feeling of belonging to this world. And so I just started with a rectangle, and I wondered what does the experience of space between my body and the corners of the rectangle will be. And that became the birth of this energetic suitcase, which is a modular collection of clothing that helps you reinvent your idea of space and helps you launch your own exploration of it and your own personal self-discovery, because this is a tote purse that you can take on your adventure, and you don't need to bring a change of outfit, because this tote will become a skirt that then will become a dress and a few other options that I'm not going to go into, because eventually I design for you to experience. I design for you to play. And I think play is so important, especially in this age of complexity, when I don't think we can conceptualize ourselves into the future. I think we need to be present in this moment, to experience that moment in order to propel ourselves into the future intentionally. So this tote synergetic suitcase sparks the beginning of an experience of your wardrobe that plays and transforms and shapeshifts with your moods. All right. Okay. I'm going to try to share. I'm so sorry, my slides are not working, and my stories are great, but I'm a visual artist and I created a lot of really incredible content following my discovery. And so my presentation is a bit incomplete if I can't share with you the 3D models that I have created.
Do you want to try to send them to me so I could try to load them from my computer?
Okay.
Let's see if that
great.
works.
Yes.
Sorry about this.
Sorry about that. Well, actually, it seems like I'm really pushing my time here.
Don't worry about
Okay.
it. We'll figure it out. We want your images and your words.
Okay. And
While she sends it, I'll take the opportunity to share with you that the Living Systems Collaboratory is a program, it's a side program of the Design Science Studio in collaboration with UCI Irvine, and we've been with the very generous contribution of Mansoor Vakili, being able to mentor and fund 30 artists that have been working to share their ideas around living systems, and who are presenting this week. We're going to be having a few spotlights throughout the week to show you all their hard work, and you also can explore their projects and their art in some of our immersive world installations that we have created called Regenera, and which lives in two different platforms. One of them is Topia, it's an immersive spatial web world, and the other one is New York City. And you can access both by entering into regenera.art and by acquiring a ticket to the festival that is happening this week. So yeah, join us. Tashka, have you sent me the presentation?
yes. Sorry. Oh my gosh, I'm so.
Don't stress. Zen, breathe. Don't worry. People are holding. People are patient.
Share the drive.
I'm trying to do that. Yes.
Walk us through your process. You got it?
Yeah, and oh my god, it's not letting me. Oh my goodness! Wow.
You're gonna sweat today. It's fine.
This is well, thank God I'm
Did you
wearing
send
my
them?
energetic suitcase to help me weather this technological storm. All
Do you have a
right.
link that you can share with me?
Link. Yes.
Just send it to me on WhatsApp so I can try to pull them out from my computer. And if that doesn't work, then what I will suggest is that we reschedule this talk and we can do it later in the day or tomorrow.
Okay. I think it just decided. Okay. I'm just gonna share them.
Sometimes, what can you do? Sometimes technology wakes up sassy and in a bad mood, and it just doesn't work. Okay, I'm also gonna, in the meantime, I'm gonna load this. It's a little sneak Okay. How are you doing? Do you manage to send me the link?
I did. Did you receive it?
Did you send it to me on which
On your,
platform?
oh,
So you
what's
send it to my WhatsApp.
oh,
That's what I kept saying.
sorry.
Oh.
Because I don't have what's okay. I just sent it to your email.
Oh, that's fine. I'll find it on the email. Give me just 1 second. Let's see. Okay, opening it right now. And let's see. I'm sharing here. Screen. Okay, we're creating a crazy mess in there, but you should see it now. It's loading. Just give it a second. Okay, which slide do you like me to start on?
Were you able to see the schematic of the denim tote bag / skirt, or was I just
Is
talking?
that here?
Yeah, so we can start. All right.
Oh,
Okay,
this is so beautiful.
we can start
Which
number.
one? Yeah, you tell me.
Let's
This
do.
one? Number
Let's
4?
do number 4. Yeah.
Here?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. So I'll go into full screen and you tell me when to pass the slide, okay?
Okay.
And don't worry about the time. We got this.
Great. Thank you. All right. So as this, at the heart of my exploration is an idea of how can we use our relationship and within the living systems, how can we collaborate with it, and how can we learn to perhaps self-resource from the intimacy that and the connection that we always share with this world. And I thought of how did humans engage with the elements of our environment for a long time. And first thing that came to mind is kites. You know, the way we've harnessed the play of the wind and the breeze, and how it's just a child's pleasure that never gets old. And I thought, what would it feel like to, you know, to be caressed by the wind and filled up and feel like you just might be able to take off and start flying. And the idea is also utilizing a lot of concepts of the biophilic design, where I'm leveraging the naturally occurring stimuli to create everyday experience that is more nurturing, that is more connected to the present moment, and because of that has a greater potential for change. And now we live in the time of change, and change is a really difficult thing for us humans. We're very attached to things, but also we're attached to space. So I thought, well, what if I take the idea of receiving constant novelty cues from the environment, so that we can learn to slowly repattern ourselves with the feeding in of all this information, and perhaps we can invite and we can meet the change in a more graceful way. And I also thought things that are needed for change would probably be trust. And what is trust? And to me, trust is an experience of being open to feeling. And so I introduced to you my first prototype that goes inside of my synergetic suitcase, which is called Synergetic Suit. And Nico, if you don't mind moving to the next page, thank you. So back to my basics, I decided to then go to from rectangles to spheres, because as Bucky said, you know, space is packed with spheres. And I also love how much tensegrity, how many tensegrity moments the spheres have. I mean, our ancestors knew that. The Romans built things with arches because curves just play with gravity in the most beautiful way. Our feet understand it. Our arches dance with gravity all day long. So I just took 2 circles and engaged the idea of spiral of a Fibonacci series, and I used the zero waste pattern making, where I absolutely utilized the entire rectangles of both fabrics, even the fabric that's left after you cut out the circle. And I had my first prototype of my synergetic suit. So what you see on top is one way of wearing it. And then you can flip it upside down, and what you see on the bottom is the other way of wearing it. And so you see all of that ease that I've built into the space to invite the experience, to invite the breeze to caress us, to invite nature to come and play with us and remind us that we're never alone, that we're always connected. And from that moment, being in present is when the work starts. And another thing that I really love about this pattern is that it builds into my drive to constantly redefine the way we conceptualize and design and create fashion. I think the way we've been building patterns has been unexamined for really way too long. Let's experiment. So this entire dress is made out of 2 seams. Consider the implication of construction for it. It requires barely any skill level for entry. These are the kind of designs I can afford producing locally, and I can, it doesn't require a professional to understand the complexity of joining 50 seams sometimes in one dress in order to bring a product to us. And I'm also bringing up the question of understanding how much work goes into our garments and how much physical labor is in it. And if we become more aware of all the work that we're wearing on our bodies, because perhaps we can learn to have a different relationship with it and a different care. And we can start making decisions differently. For example, did you know that our neural receptors always know fake, synthetic from real? Just because we don't consciously realize doesn't mean that all of that information is constantly being received by our bodies, and it shapes our understanding of our environment. And it's the understanding and the experience and the engagement with our environment that brings us forward into the future. Nico, can we go to the next slide, please? Oh, okay. Can we keep going down until you see the orange dresses again, please? I got this most beautiful scramble today, you know, and I mean, this is the process. It's messy. You see my studio behind me, you know, it's messy. Like, creating something original requires meeting my own vulnerabilities, and being here today presenting in front of you also, you know, involved meeting my vulnerabilities of being terrified of public speaking. And I think if we can create clothes that help us meet the vulnerabilities and like help us like get a little bit resources to, so we can renegotiate our experience with the present, perhaps it can help us move forward in a better way. So I invite you to this journey of wearing my synergetic suit. And if Nico, if you don't mind just going through the slides. I mean, this is the experience. At this point, we're gonna flip it upside down. So on the left, she's completing one look, and here we go. So this is the experience of wearing clothes non-linearly. Every single angle gives you a completely different composition. Wow. What is it like to be a masterpiece? And what is it like to have the ability to like shapeshift your clothing to your own expression? What is it like to be wearing clothes that are not about the looks or materialism or about, you know, wearing someone else's story on you? What is it like to wear clothes that allow you to express your own story? That's what my work is about. And I'll just thank you for hanging in here with me through the incredible, beautiful mess that creative process is. And I just invite you to check me out in Topia, and please engage with me about this wonder of mine. Do you believe your clothing can help you deepen your connection with the world? Find me, share with me. Thank you.
Let me come back. What a pleasure. I'm glad we got to find a way to share it. You're a really beautiful, synergetic mess, as you were describing, creative mess. And I wish more people were as creative and as messy as you are, because it's fascinating. This is incredible. Thank you so much, Tashka. Thank you for being part of this. Thank you for sharing your vulnerable creativity with us. And yeah, it's very, very inspiring. We're seeing some comments there from people, but like, really kudos to the work that you've done and how it has evolved in the collaboratory and in the studio. It's really, really impressive. I'm really proud.
Thank you. I'm so honored to be in such great company. Thank you.
All right, so we'll have more of these through the day. Thank you for coping with our technical difficulties. Go and explore some more of her work in our virtual worlds, and we'll see you in the next live stream.